Today's question is, what do you wish you knew about songwriting from the very beginning? Now, something that I wish I would have known from the very beginning about songwriting is how big a part music production plays today. There's so many things about music production that make it worth your while learning. Really, if you don't know what Cubase is, or Logic, or Pro Tools, you should start with that as soon as you can, because man, is it important today if you want to be a competitive songwriter. You know, when I started writing music, I just wanted to focus on just the creative part, and I thought songwriting is the creative part. And I had other people produce my music for me, and for some reason, my music never sounded like I wanted it to sound. And later on, I got into music production, and I realized that it's actually a very, very creative aspect of music making. And now I love producing my own music for several reasons. First of all, you are in control when you produce your own music. You can decide what sound you want. If you know what's possible, you know, like, okay, now I want to record my vocals like that because I want this effect, or I want to record my guitar like this and I want to pan it here because I want this effect, right? If you know what you're doing, you are in control if you do it yourself. Secondly, it gives you a sheer endless pool of possibilities, especially in today's songwriting world. If you listen to albums like Justin Timberlake's 2020 Experience, for example, that album is full of little gimmicks in the production that add to the songwriting. So it's not just songwriting and then it gets produced, but songwriting and production kind of mix, right? There's bits in the production without whom it wouldn't work. The whole song would kind of fall apart with those bits. So production and songwriting kind of blend together nowadays. Thirdly, you get it, and that's a really important thing. If you understand production, if you understand what everyone's talking about in the studio, even if you record in a different studio with different people, you understand what everyone is talking about. And that is kind of a big deal because this is about your music. If you're talking about your music, you should know what's going on. You shouldn't have to rely on other people to make something sound good for you. You should know what you want. And if you know what equalizing is, if you know how compression works, all this stuff, if you know what panning is and doubling, double tracking, all that stuff, if you know what that is and if you know how to use it, that really is important when you write songs. And lastly, and this one is especially important if you're planning to be a professional songwriter, it makes you competitive. Or I should maybe say, if you're not producing your own music, you are not competitive. You're nowhere near competitive in this modern world, because if you think you can still send in a crappy recording that you made on your iPhone of your new song and send it in for pitches, you're dead wrong, man. I mean, you're out before it even began. Your song could be amazing, but you're competing against Grammy award-winning songwriters here, usually, if you're pitching for bigger artists, right? You're pitching against some of the biggest and some of the best of the best. And do you think they're going to send in a crappy iPhone recording or something they made on a tape deck recorder? No, I mean, they're sending in finished productions that sound like the finished thing. So if you don't have that, you're really out of the game before you even start. Your songs could be amazing, but if you don't have amazing production skills or amazing songs that sound great as they are, you're pretty much out of the game for good. So I suggest you get on that right away, music production, and look at something like Logic, that's the one I use, or Pro Tools is another famous one for band producers that are working more in a live situation. If you're more into electronic music, I suggest you start with Ableton Live. If you're on Windows, I also can recommend Cubase. Those are pretty much the biggest ones at the moment. So enjoy, and hopefully good luck with that.